sensors. So in certain areas, you don't know if a flood wave is coming. So it's good to have a sensor there. So they've been placed in certain areas that have been requested by the DNR and DOT. So as far as coordination with the other organizations, they use our data when they can, and we use their data as well. So these sensors are a lot cheaper to install, but the USGS ones have gone through a process where they've kind of analyzed the site. So they can, based on stage, they can tell you what the flow rate is at that site. Ours don't have that capability yet, so they're quite a bit cheaper because of that. But so that's all I wanted to show you this evening. And I appreciate Al and Doug Cook and Rick Wolfcool, who've kind of been helping review the maps and give me comments. It's been great. Thank you.
I was going to ask, have you talked to the Watershed Authority, the people that are responsible for all? In fact, we have a meeting tomorrow.
For the WAPSI?
Yeah.
Or do I myself haven't. Sarah, I mean, I don't know if specifically we have talked to the WAPSI group, but we've been in contact with lots of watershed groups, and I mean, we would be welcome to any requests for sensors or any coordination or data that the watershed group would like.
Did you say that was it 2 years ago that you gathered a bunch of the data points and everything in the WAPSI? That you went up by boat and everything? Was it 2 years ago?
It's within the last 2 years. I think we had to come back. We came 2 times. So one may have been at the end of 2013, and then another trip maybe was during the summer of 2014.
Well, and the reason for my question is I don't know if you've had enough time yet to really, and I don't remember if we had that much water last year. My question is whether it be with the WAPSI or with any other watersheds, have you had enough time and enough water, enough floods to verify your data to see how your model works?
So there haven't been any big floods in some of the larger cities. I know we have received comments from Elkader, who we've also made maps for, and they thought they were very accurate with what they were experiencing out in the field. For most places, when we can, we will calibrate the model to high water marks. So 2008 gave a lot of high water marks. So we'll go through and run the flow from 2008 through our model and then see what elevation the water gets to in certain locations and then compare that to what was observed. So that's one thing that we do. In Independence, I wasn't able to use any high water marks, but I was able to use the rating curve that the USGS has established at the gauge. So I can go in and run a flow and then kind of see where they think that flow, what river stage that flow should be at. So that's what was done here.
I'm kind of lost as to what your objective is.
As far as specifically the Independence flood maps.
Any of them. Why are you doing any of this?
Well, it kind of goes back to our experience in Iowa City during the 2008 flood, and we've received various requests every year. When there's a flood, people want to know how high is the water going to get. So we are here for a resource to provide expertise in these areas that we know, and then provide data out there on this IFAS website that communities can use to evaluate their flood risk.
You're not trying to control the flood or anything, correct?
No.
That's been tried.
Nope. So we are basically, a lot of what we do is for the physical fundamental study of floods, as far as going out and putting up sandbag walls and that sort of thing, that's not something that we do. We don't control the reservoirs. That's in Iowa, that's the Army Corps of Engineers. So basically, we're making use of what data is available out there and making models and these predictions. All of the forecasting is still done by the Weather Service.
So if I'm understanding right, this is a tool that would help like the fire department or Rick, if the weather forecast, they said it's gonna be 17-foot flood stage in Independence, they could go to this site and try to determine how far into the city, what should be evacuated and those things. Is that what this is about?
Yeah. So basically, it's another tool in the toolbox. I know during times of floods, it's kind of a scramble, right? When it's happening, you're wondering how high is the water going to get, and what do we need to do next, and what information can we look at? And this is just another source of information that would be available to everyone.
So is this something that just it's a funded project that
Yeah.
goes on and on? Are you looking to these cities for funds?
No.
Or is it just
So we are a state-funded research center, and we do all of this free of charge. Well,
see,
Wow.
there you go, Denny, and I'm right up your alley.
tax dollars fund us in Iowa.
How long
but-
have you been around?
Denny's gonna ask you to work on other projects as long as you're free of charge. Oh, it looks like good information.
I believe Mr. Wolfkill wanted to make a comment too or something, since he's worked in this.
Rick Wolf, Co-Emergency Management, 210 Fifth Avenue Northeast. Just as a precursor, we appreciate what Dan is doing, and maybe Danny, to go to your question and talk about this. We do have data. We've got data that goes back to the 30s that we capture from the National Weather Service, that we have that. In fact, if you pull up the National Weather Service, you pull up their flood maps, and you pull up the information for the river gauge, it's got all those crest data and everything that we have it. What I wanted to bring back to you as a council is, in your responsibilities and what you do day in and day out and in the planning piece of it, when we talk about this, I guess I would like for you folks to take serious consideration in what that looks like in your codification, in the stuff that you do for your planning. Yes, it does. It helps us in the response. You think about how this county is built and how the city is built, and basically this river splits the city in half. Now think about your response agencies and where they are. Your hospital's on the east side, your fire department's on the east side, your law enforcement's on the east side. So we've got a plan for that. We've got to know how to take care of those western half of the county, western half of the city citizens when this stuff happens. That's one piece of it. That's response. The biggest piece for you folks is in your planning side. I had a mitigation expert tell me in the floods of '99 that if the river dried up for one day, somebody would build a house right smack dab in the center of it, if you folks let them. So that's what we need from you. We need you guys to take a look at that codification, those types of things, to make sure we're not building and putting people at jeopardy and those types of things, because you are ultimately responsible. You're the elected officials. You're the ones that take care of it. You hold the checkbook, not us. That makes sense? We thank Dan's research. This is amazing stuff, because they've got the technology to put it together. We didn't have that technology. Now we can use it, and we do things for the better of the community.
Very good.
Questions?
Thank you, Rick.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks, Rick.
Did you have any more you want to add, or are we finished? Okay.